I'm Ginny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm excited to share with you the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. I have a treat for you today as I've assembled a panel of brilliant entrepreneurs who are sharing the best business advice they've received and how they've used it. So welcome Kathryn Yarborough, Andrea Hylen, and Mia Zachary. Thanks for being with us. I was initially thinking, since in our meeting today, all three of you were 5-minute featured members, and all the people here on Zoom with us have met you. But for the sake of those watching the Facebook Live or this on our YouTube channel, tell us your name, where you're living, and a sentence or two about your business. I'm going to start with you, Andrea.
So my name is Andrea Hylen. I live a digital nomadic house-free lifestyle. Right now I'm in Baltimore. I'm getting ready to go to Seattle. I am a writer, a coach, and an ancestral lineage healing practitioner. And probably the big thing right now is my annual incubator, an online co-working space for women creatives, opens on Friday. So that's me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mia.
Great morning. I'm Reverend Mia Zachary. I am a priestess of the Seven Roses, which is in service to the Great Mother. I'm an intuitive counselor, which is a fancy way of saying I'm a psychic life coach. And I am also a Reiki master teacher, which means I help you balance your energy within your body. And I am just thrilled to be here this morning with these amazing, amazing women.
Thank you, Mia. And Kathryn.
In Yarborough. I live in Lake Mary, Florida, and I am the founder of Speakers with Heart, which is an organization where I collaborate with a bunch of other cool women, coaches, healers, and on-purpose solopreneurs to produce online events like summits and global gatherings so that we can all share our amazing messages. Like Mia, when Andrea, I get to connect and bring forth, and Ginny, brilliant women, and share them with the world.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for saying yes to this panel today. I'm going to start with you, Kathryn. I'd love you to hear, I asked them in advance to be thinking about some of the best business advice they received and how they use it. And I hope you all have at least one, maybe two of these, and we'll see where we go. So Kathryn, love to hear your first one.
All right, my first one is actually a combination of three because they all work together. My dad, years ago, when he was still on the planet, gave me the advice to weigh the pros and cons of a decision. And he said that good business people make decisions and they keep moving forward. And for those of us who are entrepreneurs and we face decisions, we know that it can be challenging to make a decision. You have an idea for a new offer, a new way of marketing, and you're not sure if you should do it or not. So I often do this really cool, I know I got this piece of advice. It's like a cross thing, and at the top, like if it's two choices, pros and cons for both, and then I look at the whole chart. Really useful exercise. The second piece of this is to take action and learn. So this could be a standalone, but once you've weighed the pros and cons, I love to have this attitude to take action and learn, because if I don't do it, I never know if it's going to work. So you wanted an example. I'm going to talk about hosting these summits and global gatherings. The idea came to me at the beginning of 2023 to host a summit. I thought that's kind of crazy. I never wanted to do that sort of thing. But until then, I had been a coach. And before that, I was a dance movement therapist. And I was like, there were so many reasons why I didn't want to do it. But I did it. I weighed the pros and cons. I said, well, let me give it a whirl and let me try this out. I had a great time. I loved it. And a lot of my speakers tell me they love it. And a lot of the people who join me for participating and attending them say they really like how I run my events. So I had to weigh the pros and cons, and I had to do it again this year. And actually, I've been doing it for the last month and look at, do I really want to 100% commit to this business? And the third piece that goes with it is to 100% commit to your decision. If we waffle, the whole world feels the waffling. If you commit, if you weigh your pros and cons, you take action and learn, and then you commit to what you decide is the rightest and highest thing for you, you're going to learn, and the universe is going to join you. It's going to feel you. It's going to say, yes, I'm in that process at like 90% committed to my goals and my decision to do this. And I am so ready to get to that 100% commitment. And I'm pretty close, because I know the difference it makes. So it's a process, but let's do it. That's what I've got, Ginny. Is that what you
Thank
wanted?
you. Absolutely. I love what you said about when you waffle, the whole world feels you're waffling. And that is so true. But I don't think you're saying, Kathryn, that we can't change our mind later. It's just that we give it everything we've got. And then if something doesn't work the way we want it to, or we all of a sudden go, oh, I don't really think this is for me, we can always change our mind. But we can't have the opportunity to change our mind if we don't try it in the first place. So thank you for that. Mia or Andrea, do you want to add anything before I get yours? Anything to what Kathryn said on this particular topic?
The thing that came up for me is in the, listing of the pros and cons and taking action and learning is knowing who you are and knowing what you stand for. And because that's going to be driving your decisions, your choices and decisions. And I know that about Kathryn, that you have, like, who you are, and you are open to the evolution of yourself. It's not that we have to have all the answers. It's that how you're making decisions from pros and cons. And it's also a representation of who you are and what you bring into the world. Yeah.
Right. And I'll just add, because the pros and cons are not necessarily all left brain. They're also about the feelings. Like, how does this feel to you? What do you really want? What do you, what is your future on purpose self calling you to do? I mean, pros and cons are a wide range. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mia, you want to add anything? You want to start with a fresh one?
Yes. And the reason I say it that way is because my first bit of advice kind of dovetails onto Kathryn's. And that's why it's like, well, do I say it as a comment or do I say it as my first thing? I wasn't sure. A lot of us are familiar with Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. He wrote a book called Start With Why, and he has talks and courses that go around with that. And the best advice that I have taken away from his KNOW is my own NO. So why do you have a business? Why did you start this business? Why did you become an entrepreneur? What's your why? Well, we wanted to make money. Either there was a need, there was a want, there was a future goal. But so the first why is to be profitable, to make money. No. Why? Well, I'm really good at this and I want to have a platform to share it. No. Why? I really care about this issue. I really am horrified by the things I'm seeing in the world, or I'm really inspired by the things I'm seeing in the world, and I want to be of service. No. Why? And then that's the real question. What is the benefit of the benefit of the benefit? Underneath all of those superficial whys, those surface whys, is the real one. And this is the one that you have to KNOW. Why do I want to be an entrepreneur? Why did I create a business? Because something in me has a need. Something in me is unhealed. Something in me wants to be expressed. Something in me, within me, needs what I am creating, what I am offering, what I am speaking to, whether it's a product or a surface. So that is the best business advice in two different parts. Interestingly enough, both came from men, but I feel like as women, we can take that, know your why, what's the benefit of the benefit of the benefit, and really turn it into what Kathryn was talking about. It's a whole different way of doing pros and cons. And I know that, Andrea will probably journal about this and then turn it into a great article for the OPW magazine.
Thank you, Mia. That's a wonderful offering there. And some of you know that I was a facilitator for a transformational seminar company for a number of years and have done a lot of my own stuff. And on the big 5-day retreat that we did, one of the things we would do on Wednesday night, the first night, is you had to sit in a dyad position with another person, and one person would ask the other person, "What do you want?" And they would answer. Then, "What do you want? And what do you want?" And when I did the program myself, by the 10th want, I was so angry and frustrated, I started to yell, "I already told you what I want." But all the crap that comes out first is the superficial stuff. Not that money isn't important, but money doesn't really drive us long term, does it? It doesn't last. You get used to that money and then you want more money. But the underlying piece that Mia's talking about, and that I'm sure that Kathryn gets to with her pros and cons, is what difference do you want to make in the world? How do you want to feel when you get up every morning? And what kind of impact do you want to make? So, Andrea, what do you have?
Well, I just wanted to make one comment on Mia. Can her just take a minute to do that? Because it's funny, because when you first started talking about, yes, we want to have a business to make money, what I realized for me was that I went from a career to staying home full time and homeschooling my kids, where everything was based on shared resources. There was no money exchange. There was, you organize something, somebody else organizes something, you share resources. So when I came into having a business, there was a shift of, I want to find a way to make money and do the things that I love. So sometimes the make money may be the thing. It's never been a driver for me. It's the mission underneath that, and then recognizing that it's okay to make money and charge things for things that I used to do for free. That we live in a society where you still, have things to pay. The grocery store just doesn't have a barter system. It's like, no, there's got to be, money exchange. So thank you for that, and for both of what you have both shared. I'll tell you, the thing that came up for me was that it was someone who gave me permission. And sometimes when you have a certain way of looking at something and you think, well, this is the way it's supposed to be done. This is the way everybody else is doing it. But someone gave me permission, and it's the words again that Mia said earlier before we were recording, your unique creative process, is that they gave me permission to launch a business and programs without figuring everything out in advance. And I say that so it's your unique creative process. If that puts you into hyperventilation, then do not do it. Create enough support for yourself that you can be resting in it. But for me, the highly intuitive part of myself has the first few steps. And when I have those first few steps in place, then I get what the next few steps are. And there's something for me also about working energetically with groups of people where, again, it's the way that I am wired, that I say, oh, here's where we need a little extra support for this group. I see. It's almost like I have to see things falling apart a little bit until I know, oh, okay, we'll add a little support here for that. And so I started so Heal My Voice. When I started Heal My Voice, I was clear on a mission. I wanted women to have a voice at the table. I wanted to support women in reclaiming power that was tied up in stories of trauma, loss, grief, and then step into greater leadership in their lives. So I knew that. That was something that I knew. And then I, from a variety of experience and all, came up with a 9-month program. But the way that I did it was I had a word for each month. And I had an idea that there would be writing, there would be something with the radio, and there would be something with social media. And that's how it began. And then I went from well, and actually, I'll just back up a minute, but because before I did the 9-month program, I actually did an 8-week program called Inner Journey to Freedom. And I wanted to talk about what I learned by going to 45 Jonas Brothers concerts with my daughter with very little money, 11 weeks, 24,000 miles that we drove, went to 45 concerts. And I had things like listen to your heart and step into action and trust and let go. And so I had people who signed up for the 8 weeks, and I had kind of an idea of points that I wanted, but I would create what the teleclass was going to be for that week. And then based on the conversation that came up, and we didn't have, I guess we had social media, but there wasn't a lot around it at that point. It was pretty early on, you know, it was like probably 2008, 2009 that I was doing this. And then that teleclass informed me about what would be important for the next one. So even though I could say, okay, next week we're going to talk about stepping into action, and I had some ideas about it, but I didn't have it all put together. And that's how I created that. And eventually what it led to was the incubator, which I have some pieces in place. It is a co-working space for women. And based on what women need, based on our conversations in coaching, that's when I come in with additional resources. So it really led me to just be open to creating things and allow them to evolve. And it also removed thinking that I had to have things in a box, you know, like it's got to be this system for everyone, because it doesn't, and it doesn't work for everyone. We're all wired differently. So there you go.
Thank you. And
Mhm.
Andrea, what I saw a lot of nodding, a lot of resonance with people, especially our panel, who I can see really well. I think what I've seen happen over the years, and this happened with me in the early days, is that if we try to figure it all out ahead of time, we rarely start. We'll get stuck and we'll stay stuck. Or if we get into perfection mode because it has to look a certain way or have to be really clear. And I remember eventually just kind of, you know, when I started this organization, I had no idea what I was doing. I only knew why I was doing it. I wanted to bring women together. And I just did the next thing and did the next thing and the next thing. Some things worked, some things didn't. And my best piece of advice could be figure out who you are first. That's always helpful because I wasn't sure who I was and who I was in this business. And this way you will not take every other person's opinion under advisement, because I did that a lot in the beginning. If somebody didn't like something I did, I would, oh, maybe I should change that. And I was waffling. Come about waffling, man. I was waffling until I really got clear. No, this is for me, and it will resonate with the right women. It's not for everybody. And so that's another piece of advice. I think not everybody's your client. I know it's really exciting to think that they might be, but they're not. Not everybody's going to love you. Some people are not going to like you at all. Some people are going to think what you do is just weird and wacky, right? And so, no, that's okay. Because, you know, what I've also found over the years is and I've seen this with other people, is if I tried to be somebody other than me, because I felt she might be a little more appealing to the world, the people who came around wanted that version of me. And that's not sustainable if you've ever tried to do that. I mean, I did it in my family. It's not sustainable. to be somebody other than who you are. And then when you decide to start shifting and changing and the real you starts showing up, some of your clients or some of the people in your world might not like you so much. They might, and they'll go away. So get all that out of the way first and get really clear on who you are. We're about to wrap this up. Man, this was so good. I'm going to have questions in a minute. I'd like to leave a final thought with each of our panelists. Just a quick final sentence or two. Do I have to call you out? Yes, Kathryn, go first.
All right. Well, I'm just going to say, take action and learn. You don't know it all. Do
Thank you.
something.
Mia.
It's okay to quit, just don't give up. And what I mean by quitting is when you are feeling fatigue or overwhelm or confusion, it is okay to quit on what you're doing, but don't give up on the thing that really matters to you. Don't give up on the purpose that you're here to fulfill. Don't give up on yourself or your dreams.
Beautiful. Thank you. Andrea.
Listen to your heart.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to ask the women in our Zoom room with us to unmute yourselves. And I would like you to all just applaud our wonderful panel for this advice they gave you today. So let's hear it.
Woo! Great job. Great wisdom.
Come
Inspiration.
on, y'all can do better than that. Come on.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Really,
Thank
really
you.
good.
And I want to thank anyone who's watching this either live or the replay on our YouTube channel. Please check out all the other women on our channel who share their gifts, their wisdom, and their expertise to inspire you to move forward, whether it's about your business or other parts of your life. If you want to join us for one of our Zoom gatherings, go to my website, OPWGC.com. You can find out all about our community and the magazine, and check out our panelists. Their websites and my website will be in the text of this video. So please, thank you so much for watching, and come and see us again.